Annyeonghaseyo, goeiedag, goeiemiddag, good evening, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tian. I am 28 years old, and I am finally back in Korea. Yes, I landed on Sunday morning at 6 in the morning. Here I am. I've actually got a ring light now to light my beautiful face. So I will be doing the next few videos playing around to see how the lighting actually affects my face. But I wanted to come back strong. I wanted to continue with my YouTube channel. Not that I didn't continue with my YouTube channel, but I have been moving away from my Korea content, and the only reason I did that was emotionally or mentally or spiritually not being able to go back to Korea and having to wait and wait and wait and live in this uncertainty really made me move away from doing my Korean content. But now I'm back in Korea. I'm ready to take on my story, my Korea, my adventure, my time, my Korea story adventure time once again. And I thought I would come back strong and I would do 3 or 4 part series about what it was like actually during a pandemic moving back to Korea. So my hair looks like this because later today I am going for the COVID-19 test, which is mandatory. So I'm pulling my hair back and trying, I don't know, to be healthy, not healthy, but to be more clinically safe. I don't know if it makes a difference. I don't have a hairnet, so this is the best I can do in trying to keep all my germs across my head. But let's jump into the story. So on Friday, we arrived at OR Tambo International Airport in Johannesburg. We were ready, we were set, we were packed, our bags were wrapped in plastic so people don't steal our shit. We got in, we got sanitized, and we waited and we waited and we waited. Now, we were a group of South Africans going back to South Korea, and this has been planned to the T, and all of a sudden we just get this message that says, urgent, we need to rebook our flights. Because we would fly with a chartered flight from Johannesburg, we would fly to Malaysia, and then from Malaysia we'll catch a flight to Vietnam, and from Vietnam we'll fly to Korea. That was the plan. But then we got the message that said urgent. Apparently, we just found out, we were just informed that we are not allowed to transit in Vietnam. That is a problem because we've been planning this now for a while, and for days upon days upon days, people have been emailing the Vietnamese embassy in South Africa, have gotten in contact with commissioners and consulars and consulates and consulates, and everyone possible we can message. We messaged and asked, can we transit in Vietnam? And they said, yes, fine, no problem. And then we got the message, urgent, we're not allowed to transit in Vietnam. Oh, what do we do now? So everybody's on their phone. We're phoning Korean Air, trying to get tickets for a flight that they have the next day, just before midnight, so this Saturday, from Malaysia to Korea. So we're on our phones. I'm phoning my boss. I'm messaging my boss. I'm trying to get a hold of my boss just to tell her, please just rebook my flight, because she took care of my booking from Vietnam to Korea. So I'm just trying to get a hold of her and tell her, please rebook my flight. Eventually, yes, thankfully, we got it. Our flights, all of our flights, we were able to rebook. Instead of going from Malaysia, Vietnam to Korea, we went to Malaysia and then straight to Korea, which was actually a better plan, but still, it was chaos. It was drama, it was chaos for about 2-3 hours. Now we're at the airport sorting out this drama. All of a sudden, this guy comes up to us and tells us, please, everyone go line up your bags outside. And we're like, what the fuck? Okay. So we lined up our bags outside, only to find out that usually if you go to the airport now, you would go with an embassy and they would have this whole thing. But because we're using a chartered flight, we don't go with an embassy. So we're lining up our bags, and then all of a sudden they bring out this police dog, and then it's this dog's responsibility to sniff out the COVID-19 pandemic disease virus and to see if our bags aren't infected with something or if we have anything illegal. I'm not exactly sure for what he sniffed, because some people were saying he's sniffing for drugs, other people saying he's sniffing for viruses. I don't know, but our bags got sniffed. Finally, we got our bags, we went back into the airport, they took our passports, and we had to give in a form. They took our passports, and then we moved on to the check-in counter. Get to the check-in counter, flights have been changed, we're ready, they've got our passports, and then all of a sudden, this lady tells me I'm not on the list. So I'm not on the list, so which means I cannot fly. So they start to phone the people of this person and the company of that person and trying to go get a hold of the people in charge of the list to find out if my name is indeed on the list. Then there was another girl who also, same thing, her name wasn't on the list. So now everybody's been let through, everybody's allowed, we've paid our dues, we've done what we needed to do, but we are stuck. We are waiting. Luckily for us, the plane hasn't left. It was coming from Zimbabwe. The plane hasn't left Zimbabwe yet. So while they're sorting out all our names and verification and lists and things, the plane wasn't there. So it wasn't as if we were holding up the flight. So everything is now not even chaotic anymore. Now everything just died down. It went from phoning people, messaging people to us literally just standing there. And the airport is empty. So you've got behind the check-in counter, you've got the people working there chatting, going on with their lives. And then me and this other girl, we're just standing there waiting for them to confirm that we are on the list. And I think we waited for about a good half an hour because this person had to phone that person lives in Canada, so there's a time difference, and it was just hectic. So finally we get informed, yes, our names are on the list, we are allowed to be let through, to be taken on to the next step. After that, everything went smooth sailing, went through immigration. And we got to our waiting area only to tell us that our flight has been delayed with about 2.5 hours. Which was, again, not too bad for us because we were waiting anyway to be verified. But our flight has now been delayed by 2.5 hours. So where we needed to fly out at around 2, this now changed to around 4:30. Okay, so now we sit and wait, nice and wait. Then we've got these angelic people with us. We were a group of people some were going to Hong Kong, some were going to Singapore, some were going to Korea. And people from our Korea group, the lovely people that they are, they decided to buy us all pizza, which was the sweetest thing. And I think it was something that we all needed because the airport is empty. There is nothing going on at that airport. It is just us. Everyone is stressed and nervous, or the South Korean people. We're stressed and nervous because the flights are not working out. I've had now problems with my name. The flight is now delayed, and there's a mood. Everybody is kind of excited, but everyone is also stressed. So it was a mixed bag, but in the end, we just sat around, waited. No shops are open. Nothing is open. Everything is closed. Apparently, there were bottled water that they gave out. One of the kind ladies that flew with us, she offered me an extra bottle of water they had because we were late, we didn't get water, and I was dying of thirst. And then we waited. I think we only boarded the plane at 6 at night, which means we arrived at the airport, or I was dropped off at the airport around 11, 12 in the morning. So we were waiting now, or we were at the airport now for 6 hours. Well, no, 5 hours. For about 5 hours. Finally, at 6, the plane arrived around 2:30. But then I think they needed to disinfect it and they needed to refuel and restock. But thankfully, at around 6 o'clock, everybody was able to board the plane and we were ready. We were excited. We were finally going on with the journey. And we got on the plane, everything was fine, except this is our longest flight, which was about an 11-hour flight from South Africa to Malaysia, only to find that we have no in-flight entertainment at all. So if you didn't bring a book, or if you didn't bring something to keep yourself busy for the next 11 hours, and you are not a sleeper, then that flight must have been hell for you. I took shit with me to keep me busy on that flight. And also because the aircraft is an older aircraft, you're not allowed on your phone with takeoff, taxi, and landing, and you need to put it on airplane mode, but it should be switched off, and. So for the next 11 hours, we were on this flight heading to Malaysia, and this is where I'm going to stop that story because of YouTube things, and you turn it into a series, you turn it into a thing. Tomorrow I'll continue with this story of what happened when we actually landed in Malaysia, because our journey started in OR Tambo, but the journey did not end until we actually arrived at our apartments. We went through a lot of shit, but we came out stronger. We are all safe in Korea now. Very excited for what happens next in my journey, in my little adventure. Very nervous to be tested, because I think you always have that fear of actually being tested positive, and how do you handle that and how do you cope with that. But after the test, I will also do a video on what it was like getting tested, and yeah, just discuss the whole tasting process. But I hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful life, wonderful evening. Just keep doing what you're doing, and I will see you in the next video. Comment, like, share, subscribe, do all that shit. Don't let fear interfere with your happiness. You deserve all the happiness in the world. Groete, liefde, vrede, vreugdelik, bly asseblief en alle mooi dingetjies vir julle. Bye!